Hi, my name is Greg Dixon. I'm here with Roy Dickan, and today we're going to talk about total traffic and conversion, especially the big one of the biggest challenges that people have with the Google Business Profile, moving into it as new users, and also if they've converted over from Google My Business. And Roy has quite a lot of experience with this, knows how to fix it, and he's going to tell us about this.
Yes, thanks, Greg. Yes, I'm Roy Dickan, and people have been really not happy at all with switching from Google My Business to Google Business Profile. Well, not everybody, but enough that it's the issues are showing up. It's really only because you don't know about Google Business Profile because it's not just a name change. There are other things that have changed also. So the name change is really just the beginning. But at this point, some of the things have already changed. Others will change. This is a big deal for Google. They want it to be better than Google My Business was. And it will be, and it actually is already. But it could be upsetting to you if you've been using it to generate leads. It's part of your strategy. And so we're going to get into that. But Google Business Profile has some new features that Google My Business did not have. And I want to show you, first of all, how to log in and what is different. And then I'm going to tell you about some issues and we're going to solve them all at the same time. So this will be a little bit of a working workshop. How's that? So what I'm going to do is I think I can share my screen here and I'm going to figure out if that's possible. It looks like present probably means share
Yeah.
my screen.
It used to say share my screen. Now it says present.
Okay, now it says present. All right. So share screen, and then let's see, I'll do this. Let's see what happens here. Share.
Yeah, there we go. I got it.
Are we sharing? Oh,
But
great.
but,
Okay.
but uh, you might want to change the window to something that's not us, else we're going to have recursion.
Yes. Well, I want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So I think this is where I want to go. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. So at this point in time, you may still be able to log in the way you logged into Google My Business. And so we're going to make that assumption. And if you can log in that way, this is what will come up. You're used to this if you've gone into the back end quite a few times, or even if you've gone in once. This should be recognizable. Now, what's going to happen is, and it could be as early as January, you're not going to be able to get in this way anymore, but you still can now. So now is the time that you actually want to go in and check and make sure things are still as you want them. Because even though you logged in the same way that you have in the past, if you look up at the top here, it's Business Profile Manager, which is really a combination of a couple of things. If you have more than one location, you can get to it in this manner. If you have one location, at this point in time, you get to it the same way. But in the future, you will not be able to. So what is going to happen in the future is you're going to end up, when you log in, it's going to look like this. Whatever your Google Business Profile is, it's going to be on the right. And you're actually going to go to edit business information and do other things from there. So at this point, you can go through each of these things and make changes. Or you can do them individually. But the easiest thing is probably you're just going to go down here to see what you might want to change. And how you change it is every time you put your cursor in this area, there's a little pencil to the right of the title of it. And if you click on that, it'll take you to being able to make these changes. This is the way you're going to have to do it. Right now, you don't have to, but you may still want to. You want to get used to that. And we're going to go back to it. This is the way you're going to log into it. Oh, I want to take you back to here. All right. While you still can do this, if you can, it may be easier for you to go on the left side like you've done it before. And what you might want to do is take a look at it, and then take a look at it the way it is now on Try It on Search. And when you look at it here, you're going to see that it looks a little bit different. Now, it may be fine. It may not be fine. But you get to do more things here. And you can also add posts here. You should be able to eventually do everything here. Now, this is also going to tell you the keywords that people are using to find you, which is kind of interesting. And you can copy that and you can use that to put those kind of keywords on your website as well, which will be helpful. But the thing, so you want to take a look at this and you want to make sure that it's still doing what you want it to do. The thing that people are upset about, and I'm going to show you the good thing about this when you figure out what it is and why to use it and all that kind of thing, is you have a website tab on what used to be your Google My Business. And let me take a drink of water here. It sounds like my throat is getting harsh, and I don't want to, yes, I'm going to have to. All right. I didn't want to do that, but I had to. Okay. So when you click on this website tab, it's going to take you to a website. Now, if you use this tab as part of your way of attracting clients, you probably wanted them to go to your website. And in this case, theirs still does. But in some cases, and this is frustrating a lot of people, when you click on that, it doesn't take you here. It actually takes you to something different that you've never seen before. And I'm going to show you that next. If we go back to the way you can get in, hopefully still now, although not everybody can get in this way anymore. So your time is limited, and your time may be over to do this. So I want to explain what's going on here. When you go to website here, this is now a website that Google has created for you. And while this is really nice, you didn't create it. So you may want to make changes to it. And the other thing is it's created from things that were on your Google My Business and sometimes things that were on your website. But for some people, that tab is taking them here, and they didn't know that, and they didn't put this together, so they don't even know what it is. In the future, you may want to use this, but now this may be a hindrance to use it as the link on your tab. So if you want to change it, you can, and I will show you how to do that. But in the meantime, take a look at this, and there's a lot of good stuff here, and you can add more to it.
Yeah, can I jump in here?
You absolutely can.
So what this suggests to me is that somebody could just simply open up a Google business profile, and everything they need, including the website, could be part of that. They don't actually need a separate website.
That is absolutely true. And that may be one of the things that Google wants to do in order that you've got a good website in addition to your Google business profile. But it also could be a secondary website.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good things you can do with this. Now, I'm looking at About Us, and all kinds of things can be put in here. But if we go over here, we can even change the theme of this thing. We can change the colors, and we can make this the way we want it to look, but we've got something to start with.
Yeah.
We can then go into the edits and do all kinds of things here. There's all kinds of text we can change. We can bold it. We can italicize it. We can underline it. We can add links. We can add bullet points, and we can add numbers. So there's all kinds of things you can do there. This is the way you're going to add photos to the new website, but you can also add photos to your regular Google business profile as well. And let me get back out of this. I'm not going to add a photo right now, but let me explain that is important for two reasons. One thing, Google wants to know that you're a real business and you're actually doing business where you say you are. So if you take images with your phone or a mobile device, or in some way you get your latitude and longitude on that picture, and then you upload it, Google feels real good about that. But the other advantage is the more photos you have on here, the more people are going to spend on here because they love the photos. And you can actually you don't have to just put photos, you can actually put videos as well. Short videos, but videos. And there are a lot of other things you can do. But at any rate, you can get into that when you've made changes and you're ready to publish, you just publish now or hit publish. And that's what you can do with this new website. But you do not want to let this mess up your client attraction.
Yeah. So maybe could you show us what it looks like from a visitor's point of view to get into one of these Google business profiles?
Well, it's actually going to look like exactly the way you get into it when you go try it on search. It's just that they're not going to be able to get into it. They're going to see this from here on down.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not going to be able to edit your business information.
Yeah. No, what I mean is like, from the point of view of why would somebody want to do a Google business profile? For one thing, they're going to show up in the search engines a lot better and get presented. But also, what's the experience for somebody visiting the profile? Because that's changed too, right? I noticed I jumped on one and there was all of a sudden I was expecting just a map, and all of a sudden there's images and posts and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yes. What is happening, and I'm really glad you brought that up, Greg. Let me get off of this for now. We can go back to it if I can. Now, yeah. I've stopped sharing, but how?
Yeah, you can probably choose it to share it again. It kind of left, but you can choose maybe key up another example and find it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is I think it's pretty I think there are some people who run their whole businesses just with a Google business profile. They don't necessarily have a separate website. Of course, you and I are both in the business of creating websites, so we
Yeah,
shouldn't see
we
that
love
too
to
much.
create your website.
Yeah,
We'd love to
but
do all kinds of things, but what we're doing here is trying to keep you from getting ambushed.
yeah,
Let
yeah.
me see if I can get back to where you are. Ah, there we go. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So, yes, what I wanted to say was this is going to continue to change, but it's not just for the sake of making changes. Um, the reason Google is doing this is they're actually changing all of their properties that I'm aware of, and certainly all the properties that deal with attracting people to your website or Google Business Profile, and really all the things that lead to being able to turn a visitor into a client or a customer. So this is really a good thing for us. Of course, we've got to learn how to do it, but and that's something that Greg and I do, and we can help you with all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to give you kind of the reason Google is doing all this kind of stuff, and it all comes down to they have decided that the most important thing for their search engine is to have people happy that they have actually clicked on your website or your Google Business Profile. So they want what they're calling a good user experience. And so what that is all about is they're looking at this as when they put you on page one of Google, or really anywhere, but primarily page one, or in a Google map, which is where your Google Business Profile is often found. When someone clicks on that, they want to make sure that they're happy that they get whatever they came looking for, whether it was to learn something, which 75% of people come to you for information, but they may come to you to actually buy your service or buy your product. And so Google wants to make sure that even if they don't follow through and do anything, they're happy that they went there. And so they're calling this, or they're thinking about this as a recommendation. They're recommending you for the search term the searcher put in, either spoke in or keyed in the search field. So when they recommend you, they want you to provide that good user experience. So if someone is going there for information and they're going there, they've gotten you because the search term has brought them to you, they want to make sure that information is there. Or if they've gone there because they want your service, they want to make sure it's easy for them to actually buy it. Same thing with a product. So it's all about the user experience. So what Google is doing, you're seeing it with this new philosophy, or however you want to look at it. You're seeing it from the Google My Business standpoint, and that has now become Google Business Profile. But your website is also going to be ranked differently, and because that user experience is what Google is basing this all on. So what does that mean? That means you have to come up quickly. Your website has to come up quickly on the typical mobile device. Now, this is really important not only for your website, but also for your Google Business Profile, because Google is looking at both and gathering data when anybody comes to you, and probably people are coming to you at all times of day, every day. So Google's getting all kinds of information. If they come to you and they last about 5 seconds, that's not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
So they're looking at people's reaction to your website, and also people's reaction to your Google Business Profile. And fortunately or unfortunately, if you're not being perceived as giving a good user experience on both of them, there is a chance you're not going to get much traffic on either of them. So it's really important to make sure your content is good. It should be full. You should have a lot of content. But at any rate, you want to make sure that it's easy to get around and that you come up quickly. You only have to worry about the website. Your Google My Business profile will come up quickly. So those are the two things that you'll be affected by the most. But if you're keeping track of who comes to your website and what pages they land on and all this kind of stuff, and people have been doing this with a thing called Google Analytics, well, Google's changing that too. And they're not changing the name Google Analytics. They'll keep that the same. But right now, you're either using Universal Analytics or you're using Google Analytics 3. And by next July 1st, you're going to have to use Google Analytics 4. And Google Analytics 4 is based on this same thing, this user experience. But this is the good part about Google Analytics, in my opinion, is Google Analytics uses artificial intelligence to help you actually convert a visitor into a buyer. So Google assumes a timeline when a visitor comes to your website, and they gather information on why that visitor is there. And if it looks like they're there for the first time and they're gathering information, that's all going into your database. And I hope this is too down in the weeds for you, but I think you need to know it. So they're gathering information. And if this is the other interesting thing, this has never been available on any other of their analytics platforms. If they start the search, in other words, they come to you first on your phone, but the second time they come to you, they come on their PC, their desktop. Google knows that. And they know that now they've taken the second step in the timeline. And they get a better idea of what that person is really looking for. Maybe it only is information, but maybe it's information and then they're actually wanting to do something that's going to affect their life in some way. Like maybe get to what you're offering as a service or a product. And so Google will be tracking this, and they'll be keeping track of it. If they go back to their phone, they'll track it that way. If they go back to a desktop device again, they're putting this all together with the same user ID, no matter what device they're using. So they could even use a third device, and it still would work that way. They're even taking this so far as to begin using it in their advertising, and we can get into that if that's important to anybody. But going back to this, you really want to get to know Google Business Profile because it's good now. If it doesn't sidetrack you, you don't get T-boned by it, but it's going to be better in the future. And so you want to keep an eye on it. You want to see what changes you can make. And then you want to use those changes to attract clients and customers to your website and Google Business Profile so you can grow your revenue. And that's what I wanted to tell you about today. Greg, is there something else we should be getting into a little bit?
Yeah, I think it may not necessarily be your cup of tea to get to understand everything Google's doing in this lifetime. So so that's what Roy's here for, because he's doing the work, and you can book a call here. There's total traffic and conversion. You can make a call, book a call with Roy to talk about it. And then we put together a little package here where we can take a look at what you're doing, your total online presence, what you're doing with your website, if you're using Google services, or maybe you could be using Google services, and we'll we'll take a look and make some recommendations, and there'll be recommendations that you can implement yourself, or we're available to help you with it. So that's that, and that again is, you can find information about that at totaltrafficandconversion.com.
That's a really good point, Greg. You might not have a Google business profile yet.
Yeah.
You might decide, hey, this is something I want to have. Now you can either do that for yourself, or we're happy to help you do that too. We have found that the combination of having a Google business profile and a website is very effective for attracting clients, and we can help you with that. But Greg brought up another good point that I think you probably should know. I have been fortunate enough to be involved with Google before they were even making any money. In fact, I kind of wondered why they were continuing to spend millions every year with no return. Well, we see it now. But initially, they came up with a product that became Google My Business. And I was fortunate enough to have clients that had websites then, and Google wanted me to try my clients with a Google My Business listing, which is called something a little different then, but same thing. And I did. And I thought, wow, I'll bet you if I help Google, there's a chance they might help me. Well, it turned out to be reasonably true. But the good thing was I've been able to maintain that relationship. So I've had a relationship with Google and people that work there for, well, it's been over 10 years. I really don't know. It might already be 11 years. Might be more. I don't know what it is. But at any rate, the thing that you should know about me is that I'm keeping up with all of Google's changes and knowing how to turn these changes into benefits. So to take that back to what Greg was talking about before, we can really help you with this stuff. And if you want to grow your business, I can get you found, and Greg can help you convert these people that are finding you so that they actually become clients or customers. And I don't know if you realize this, but if you convert somebody, I don't care if it's for $1, and they stick around and they keep in touch with you, maybe they visit your profile or your website from time to time again, they may buy something else from you. And you know what? They may keep buying from you for years. So when you get somebody new that you've converted, and Greg is excellent at getting these conversions for you, you've actually got a client that has a lifetime value, all the things that they may buy throughout their lifetime, as long as you keep putting things up for them that they may be interested in. So you want to take advantage of this. I would expect at least talk to us. And if you're specifically interested in conversion, then Greg is your man.
Yeah. We're happy to talk to you and see what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and if we can help you get there. And do we have any last comments for everybody at this point, Roy?
Did anything else come up in comments from anybody that we need to answer?
Yeah, I think you've answered the questions so far.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we answered them before they asked them, and then when they asked them, they already had the answer. Yeah. You know, I do want to point out one thing. When you, with respect to what was just said, as a matter of fact, when you start to use your Google Business Profile, you may realize that there's a way to ask questions. Now, you can ask questions of yourself, or other people may come to your profile and ask questions of you. Now, the interesting thing is, going back to what I was telling you about how Google's tying all this stuff together and the artificial intelligence and all that kind of thing. When somebody begins to ask you a question, they'll be asking you in this little box, they'll be typing it in. I haven't seen it voiced in, but it's probably going to work the same way. There's another box to the right of it, And Google begins answering that question before they even complete it. And they're bringing up all kinds of things that you have on the internet about yourself. And it could be on your website, it could be in your profile. And so as people ask questions, it could be other places too, because they are looking at the whole internet,
Yeah.
and to put this stuff on the right side of the question that's being entered into the search box. So just one more thing, but so many good features. We would love to be able to talk to you about them. You ought to be using them, but we can help you turn your website into money, and it begins probably with the Google Business Profile,
Yeah.
which will really ignite your website and make it a lead generation machine.
Yeah. Turn your website into money. I like that. That's a good place to end, I think.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody that has seen this or anybody that sees the recording. I hope you got something out of this. That was Greg's and my intention. And please get in touch with us if we can help any further.
Okay. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you.